Here we go, Nessa Nation. Welcome into a special Boston has entered the chat Memorial Day edition. We always honor all of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice, of course. Travis Thomas here with George Balekji. How you doing, my friend? It's good to be back with you, my brother.
My man. I was battling through last week.
You were.
Shout out to those that held it down. Casey Hudson, our producer, Ethan, they do a phenomenal job.
Yes.
I'm so happy to be back in the saddle with you, my man.
We're happy to have you back, man.
Brother.
Remember, we're live Monday through Friday, right here on Nesson, 8 a.m., Nesson Nation, 9 a.m. daily. Good to have you back. And, of course, we're going to break down top prospect Marcelo Mayer's debut with the Sox over the weekend. The series, George, didn't go the way we thought with the O's. We'll get into that, too.
Yeah.
And we have so much more coming up, right?
Yeah, we'll be talking about, do OTAs really matter in May for Drake Maye? We'll talk about that, how he's cleaning up the turnovers. And we got to talk some Celtics. This offseason will never not be interesting for Boston.
Never.
Who should the Celtics trade? That's a reality. We'll both give that out. We'll talk some sports memorabilia with you guys, too.
Yeah, we got all the business here. And remember, we are interactive. Email us at chat@nesson.com. Tweet at us using the hashtag NessonChat. Hit us up on the phone, too, 617-790-0928. We always play voicemails here. But, of course, we want to start with what's trending in the world of sports. So let's get into it, George. 3 stories. We'll go rapid fire here, and we'll start with Marcelo Mayer because all eyes were on him all weekend. We knew with the injury with Bregman, this could happen. It did. Sort of your thoughts on what you saw from him.
I mean, I loved how comfortable he looked at the plate.
Yeah.
Obviously, went hitless his first game, second day, being in the majors, his family in attendance. You see them on the screen there. Goes 2 for 4, hits that, single down the left field line, then ends up lacing a double to deep center.
Yes.
And, of course, keeps a baseball, which I love the nod to. Let him touch the ball before he throws into the dugout. This is a guy that steps into Fenway Park with all 37,000 people in attendance and everyone at home knowing his name. This is highly anticipated. This was expected. And there is a lot put on this kid's shoulders. Hey, just get to the MLB level and play well. To see him go 2 for 4 in his second game, again, just rip that double to center. He looks comfortable. He looks situated. And he's playing out of position. He's playing third base. He had 7 minor league games at third base before getting the call up. We saw him switch over to shortstop. That's what it's going to look like for him. He's going to play everywhere but first pretty much. Get in, get situated. Not the best case scenario with Alex Bregman going down.
No.
But we'll see what we get from Marcelo Mayer. I mean, this is going to be a 50, 60 game possible sample size to see from him playing third base.
I don't think it's possible. I think it's happening. And
I think he should stay up.
And by the way, that first game, I'm glad you brought that up, going hitless. Almost like you bring this up a lot where you say it's almost like a feeling out process at first, right? That first game, you're just kind of getting the speed, adjust to the speed of the game. Second game, he made his impact felt. And the biggest thing you said that I like is all those fans there waiting for you, here to see you. The hype is real with this kid, but he showed, hey, stage isn't too big. I'm ready. Yeah. It's okay. He will continue to get better, and this team needs him bad. I'll tell you another one. I'm ready for Roman Anthony, too. I am. Yeah. And that's a topic for later in the show, not another day, later in this one. But honestly, at this point, you're 500. Even the split with the O's, which we'll go into deeper.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, this team stinks. I had O's fans in town staying at my house, George, for this series. We didn't go to the game because it got rained out, I think, on Thursday. But they're like ticked off. Our team stinks. The manager's fired. This was a point where I thought the Red Sox could make some hay. Yeah. And the split with the O's is like, I look at Mayer as this is one of the lone bright spots from that series.
Yeah, no, and I agree. I mean, this should have been a sweep. The Orioles are a joke. They're one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball, and you had this a 4-game homestand at home.
That's right.
You should at least won 3 or 4. To split with them is nothing short of a disappointment. And look at this team now, 27-28 on the season. Yeah. 500 or just below it. That's what they've been, which stinks to see. There's a lot of potential. But now this is basically 6 rookies in their lineup, guys with 2 years or less of MLB service time. That's right. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we will. We'll dive deeper into that. I want to pivot to the NBA now because, look, I'll be honest. It's getting late. I'm like, oh, the Pacers got this. They're up 20, George. Knicks come back, win the game. Are you kidding me? Here's a tweet right here. Tonight marks New York's 3rd 20-point comeback. Don't we know it around here? During this year's playoffs. It's the most in a single playoff run. That is insane, George. Hey, Karl Anthony Towns, got to give him credit. Yeah. It's, I think, what makes fans, both going all the way back to Minnesota and now New York, It drives him mad because when this guy is dialed in, George,
oh my
he's one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
He's an unstoppable force of nature. The only person who can stop him is himself. But when he was dialed in, like he was in Game 3, here come the Knicks. Now we have a series.
Yeah, they have that comeback. He scores 20 of his 24 points in the fourth quarter, pulled down 15 boards. At one point in time, Karl Anthony Towns, when he was really getting into the league and breaking through, that's a guy you would ask a lot of NBA GMs, and they would say, I would build my franchise around him.
Yes.
But he always comes up short. It's in the big moments. It is defensively. It is his inconsistencies as well. I've seen it watching the Knicks throughout this postseason and throughout the regular season as well. But this Knicks team is so interesting, because they're not deep. They had their starters play more minutes, and really their top 7.5 guys play more minutes than any other NBA team. This Pacers team is so deep, and Rick Carlisle will put anyone out there. If he could give them 5 good minutes, he's confident in playing them. Aaron Nesmith goes down, who is defending Jalen Brunson brilliantly. Not just what he does on the offensive end of the floor, but what he does defensively.
Sure.
That allows his comeback to come back, but also Jalen Brunson in foul trouble. This Knicks and Pacers series is interesting. I'm not worried right now if I'm Pacers fans, though, because of how deep they are, and I think of how tired this Knicks team is. But hey, the Knicks, for them, it's winning consistently on the road. If they keep pulling that off, the series gets even, then I think it goes 7. But right now, I'm still comfortable if I'm the Pacers.
It's funny, you bring up Karl Anthony Towns and how you say any GM around the league would say how great he is.
At one point.
At one point, you would build around him. It reminds me of Anthony Davis. It's the very same thing, remember? He was lost for years in New Orleans.
Yeah.
Finally gets with LeBron and wins, but he needed LeBron. He needed a Batman to his Robin. So I just wonder now with Cat, is Brunson the Batman? Because the way Cat's playing right now, if you can get that, we do have a series, and the Knicks could win this series and go on to win bigger than that and win this whole shebang-a-bang. We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if Cat can become the Brow in that way.
Yeah.
Because he did, for everything Anthony Davis didn't do, he did win once he got that counterpart.
Yeah,
so we'll see.
And that's what I think. I mean, Jalen Brunson is the guy.
Yes.
He just needs that consistent number 2, and that's what you have a Karl Anthony Towns for. They needed that guy that can create shots and make them and just be serviceable on defense.
Yeah.
He's not serviceable on defense, but as long as he plays smart and they can show up in clutch time like he did in this game.
Sure.
I mean, yeah, that's what really hits the ceiling for this Knicks team. You know what you get from Jalen Brunson. You need a great second scoring option.
That's right.
To win in the NBA. The Pacers have that. They have 3 great scoring options and deeper than that as well. You know, bring in Pascal Siakam. The Knicks need to find that.
Hey, how about this? USA men's hockey wins the IHF championship for the first time since 1933. Good Lord, that's a long time. George, were you locked into this or what?
Yeah, it was. And I mean, shout out Jeremy Swayman, the goaltender for Team USA, blocking 25 shots when they shut out Switzerland to get that gold. This was an interesting win for the Team USA, too, because they didn't have the big-name Americans in this one. They obviously had some studs like your boy Tage Thompson on this, but you're seeing a Cutter Gauthier be a key contributor on a team that's a showcase towards the future. Hey, USA has won the World Juniors. USA came up short in the 4 Nations. They win this in the IIHF. Again, it's those building blocks on that national stage. But at the same time, too, I mean, Canada didn't have their main guys either in this type of tournament.
Right.
We didn't see some of these teams. Pasternak ended the tournament as a leading scorer.
Yeah.
Obviously, his team doesn't have the support. That's a big win for USA. It's a big win, especially, again, when it comes to those young players getting a taste of that high level of play, high-intensity play like the IIHF.
Now we just need Jeremy Swayman to bottle up this performance.
Man.
Can we
Put it
bottle
together.
up, put a top on it,
Yeah.
bring it in the next season? That's what I want to see, because we all know, I mean, talent-wise, George, what are we talking about? We know Sway can be elite in this game. We just got to find the consistency. So I look at a game like this, on this stage, against this level of talent that you talked about, although not the highest of high, but still, and he has this kind of performance. I'm like, Sway, please, man, confidence, all that. Bottle it up, bring it into next season. I think he will. I think he will.
I think he will. We need to see a little more from Eunice Corpusalo, too. I think it's bottling up and also understanding what led you to that success. What's the workload like? Did you have to start every game? You just need to start 50.
Right.
And that's what it'll be. Set it up for success in the postseason, because that's what it's about here. You can do all the starts, be the man of the regular season.
Sure.
That's fine. But be that dude in the postseason. That's what we want to see from Jeremy.
All right, coming up on Boston has entered the chat. We'll dive even deeper into Marcelo Mayer's Red Sox debut. And remember this, get the latest up-to-date live. We've got Boston sports headlines along with your daily dose of trending sports. and social topics every weekday on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Catch us live at 8 a.m. on Nesson and 9 a.m. on Nesson Nation. That's every Monday through Friday.
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome waking up as a big leaguer. Just the whole day kind of getting prepared for the game with my family in town. It was a special day.
What was it like to get that first hit, take us through the at-bat, and then they flipped you the baseball as you stood there at first?
Yeah, it was good. I mean, I was just trying to get a good pitch to hit. Ended up getting 2 strikes, I think. Shot it to left field. It was a really cool moment.
Well, he talks like a veteran, but he looks like a young man. Welcome back to Boston Has Entered the Chat. I was like, look at that baby face. But bro is playing like a veteran.
Yeah.
I mean, let's get into it. Marcelo Mayer, you know, his debut for the Sox over the weekend couldn't come at a better time in a way that you lose Bregman. This team just needs a spark. George, let's talk about everything here as it pertains to not only Mayer's debut, but the split with the Orioles. How disappointing was that? I mean, I came into this series talking so much trash of, hey, all of a sudden, Devers is starting to swing the bat like a monster. Duran's playing. I mean, everything, it felt like coming into the O series, the momentum was shifting towards the Sox. So I'm thinking, hell, this should be a sweep. You can make some hay in the AL East and the American League in general against a bad team who just fired their manager 5 minutes ago. It was for naught. I mean, you split with them at the homestand, which we'll talk about later, but a 10-game homestand, you go 5-5. This just felt so Red Sox for this season, where they even when the momentum's shifting, Bregman gets hurt. Then you split with the O's, and it's almost like they can't quite find their footing, even when it feels like they're on the precipice of doing it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and it was also a team that took 2 or 3 against the Mets. You would think they would take the momentum and build it into going against the Orioles.
It would carry over.
And the issue is, too, is that it's exciting to see Marcelo Mayer come up, but he's playing third base for a reason. And that's because you're losing Alex Bregman, who is your second best bat in your lineup, and it's only second best because Rafael Devers has been a top 5 hitter in baseball.
Yes.
You're going to lose him for maybe 50, 60 games because that's what it sounds like from Alex Bregman himself as he deals with the quad strain. But this team, end of the day, is 27-28 on the year. This team, end of the day, cannot get above 500 consistently. And if they do, then they just fall back below water. They get back to drowning and can't get above it. Marcelo Mayer hit really well in his second game. Marcelo Mayer also pressed in the field. We saw that errant throw he made as they were throwing the ball around. It was an overthrown by Cedane Rafaela, leads to Mayer throwing it around, and all of a sudden it's a Little League inside the park home run.
Yes.
This team just seemingly can't put it all together. Now they're young. If you have Marcelo Mayer and Christian Campbell hitting back-to-back in your lineup, those are 2 guys that aren't even 23 yet. Haven't played more than 60 Major League Baseball games, hitting back-to-back in your lineup.
Right.
Add that with the Cedane Rafaela, a Wilyer Abreu. Right now, Nick Sogard playing first at certain points. David Hamilton even playing second base when you need Christian Campbell to get a rest and reset his mind as well. All those guys have not played more than 2.5 years of total MLB service time. This is all of a sudden a very young lineup. It went from promising to very young. Jarren Duran's great. Rafael Devers is great, but you need major league hitters. And this is what it's going to be. It's developmental. This guy's the future. I'm not saying Marcelo Mayer should not be at the major league level. But now when you look at that, what is the timeline like for this roster? What is the timeline like for this rotation? What's the timeline like for this front office and this manager? Everything changing with Bregman going down for 60 games.
Okay, I agree with you, but 2 things can be true at once. What I hear from you is like a signaling, not that the season's over, but almost like, hey, the time, you said it, the timeline changes. Now all of a sudden we're younger, we're just trying to tread water here.
Yeah.
I hear you with the Bregman injury, and I agree with you there. Where I think we differ, I actually am encouraged by this youth movement. Because look, as you were talking, I wrote down some gripes that I have. This is just off the top of the dome. Campbell and Story are struggling at the plate, to put it nicely. The bullpen needs upgrading at the deadline. I think we would both agree. Outside of Crochet and Buehler, from your starters, do you feel that great? So I look at this now and I say, Mayer and bring me Roman Anthony, because why the hell not? I think you need a spark. I think you need a something. So yes, you could look at a youth movement and think different timeline now. This team maybe just has to tread water. Then if Bregman gets back, if you're in position. But I see it as, why not roll the dice right now? If this team were 10 games above 500 or one of the top in the American League, I would probably look at it differently. But the fact that you've hovered, you've lived in 500ville, what the hell? Put these young guys in.
Yeah.
I am beating the Roman Anthony drum. Let's bring him up too. If for nothing else, yes, you do start the youth movement. Yes, you do start these young guys getting acclimated to the bigs. I get it. You said it, and I agree, the future's bright. But also, what if it can provide a spark? What if this youthful exuberance you bring in and you inject into your lineup helps, and these guys rake, and they're actually helping you win games and get above 500? I think it's great for the Sox. So that's where I'm at. I don't know. Some of me, I'm in a glass case of emotion because I just told you all the complaints I have.
Yeah.
I just literally wrote a scribe of them. But at the same time, I'm like, damn, well, just fully embrace this youth movement. Don't just do it with Marcelo Mayer. Bring Roman Anthony too, and let's see if he can turn this around.
When did you get to Boston? When did you get to Nesson? March 2022?
3 years. This is year 4, so 3 years now.
February
This is my
2022,
4th year.
right?
Yep.
You haven't seen a playoff appearance
I
yet
have
by the Red Sox.
not. Can you hear the frustration?
And that's my issue, too, of what this timeline changes. And now all of a sudden you have to see something unified on the front because this has been a 500 team the last 2 years.
Yes.
This has been a ball club that hasn't made the playoffs since they made a surprise ALCS run.
That's right.
In 2021.
And that shocked everyone.
But okay, you want to bring up a Roman Anthony, then where does he play? And you bring up a Trevor Story, that's a conversation that has to be had. He's a sub 600 OPS.
Right.
He has not been producing at his spot.
No.
Still good defensively at shortstop, but you know what? If your bat is less than a Ceddanne Rafaela, and Roman Anthony is an outfielder, I'm not down to play with everyone's position. Okay, bring up a Roman Anthony, bump a Ceddanne Rafaela to shortstop, see what you do with Trevor Story. Maybe it's a platoon at shortstop between Ceddanne and Story.
Sure.
And maybe you move a Jaron Durant to center field and a Roman Anthony to left, or Wilyer Abreu, Gold Glove out there at right field, he goes to left and Roman Anthony plays right.
I hear flexibility.
And he produces with his bat.
I hear flexibility
and I
with
would take that. But that's where, what's the timeline like? You bring up how good Garrett Crochet has been. He's been dominant.
Yes,
He's been phenomenal. He's been everything you hope for.
He's lived up to that.
Hunter Dobbins has overperformed.
I like him.
Brian Bayo has to be consistent. Time and time again, he is not producing, not getting to 6 innings pitched.
No.
That's unacceptable for a guy that you want to be a top 3, top 4 hurler in your rotation. Walker Buehler pitched well when we saw him get more than 3 innings allowed by the umpire.
Sure.
But this is just a team. There's so many things up in the air. And if I give you that scenario of Roman Anthony in the lineup, now I'm giving you 7 guys that are essentially rookies or just getting into their second year Major League ball playing. And what did Alex Bregman bring to this lineup of free agency? That right-handed power bat. What is Marcelo Mayer? A lefty.
Right.
What will Roman Anthony be? What is he? He is a lefty as well. Then all of a sudden, this whole lineup changes. That's where I want the future.
Sure.
This lineup's not good
right
enough.
now.
This defense isn't good enough. No, I want it now.
Yeah.
But there has to be, and it's a very complicated, convoluted formula of you bring up the future now, you give these guys reps. Your lineup's not good enough. Your lineup is not good enough. You need a Roman Anthony just to see what he can bring. And it pays dividends in the long run. But you need this really difficult formula to be put together, and it needs to make sense at the end of bring up the youth movement, improve the lineup, can the defense get better, and can you get something out of your rotation? And need to improve the bullpen. It's a lot, and at this point, you want to see good baseball. And this team hasn't consistently provided that in the field with their bullpen and with the lineup.
Not consistently.
Not consistent. That's the thing.
We've seen flashes.
The Orioles are trash.
I know.
It's amazing what ownership is doing to Gunnar Henderson and Natalie Rushman. How he's wasting that amazing elite level talent.
That's right.
But the Orioles are trash. You cannot split with them.
You can't split.
You need to take 3 or 4 at minimum.
That's right.
You took 2 of 3 against the struggling Mets. You need to take 3 or 4 against the Orioles.
You have to get 3 or 4.
They're in Milwaukee this week. You need to take 2 of 3 against the Brewers. Or sweep them. That has to happen. You have to start playing good baseball. Not great, good. And
brother,
they're not doing that.
I was on 310 to left last week. Check that out. And honestly, TC goes, hey, in this 10-game homestand, they need to go 7-3. At worst, 6-4. This is worst case scenario.
5-5. Hey, and look at it this way, too. When Christian Campbell's back on the field, we see him taking reps at first, right? Eventually, when you see Marcelo Mayer and Christian Campbell, it's Marcelo Mayer making plays at third, throwing balls to Christian Campbell across the diamond at first. That is neither position that they came up playing.
Right.
That is neither position they were projected to be major leaguers at. Now, Mayer can play third. Christian Campbell, I think he's athletic enough and he's good enough to play first.
Yeah.
But you want Mayer being where he's comfortable, shortstop. You want Campbell being where he's
That's
comfortable,
right.
second base. But due to injuries, this is worst case scenario. Bregman going down with the quad strain.
Worst case.
Tristan Casas blowing up his knee, his knee
worst case.
floating on him. This is worst case scenario.
Absolutely.
But hey, that's when you look to what can you do to at least salvage this situation.
There's still a lot of baseball left to be played.
Yeah.
That's one thing we can hang our hat on for sure. All right, now we have a ways until football season starts, but OTA season, oh baby, that's in full effect. So we'll break that down when we come back. And save the date, the WEEI Ness and Jimmy Fund Radio Telethon presented by Arbella Insurance is on August 18th and 19th. Help strike out cancer by visiting jimmyfund.give/kcancer to donate today. Welcome back. The Boston has entered the chat. Let's talk some football, baby. No, it's not football season yet, George. Just relax. September
season for
7th.
me,
I know. September 7th. We have to wait till the Patriots host the Raiders. That's a win for the Patriots. But in the meantime, in between time, we do have OTAs, of course. And look, I saw a few things over the weekend that I wanted to talk to you about. First of all, on my timeline, I remember last week, people were saying, oh, Drake Maye threw all these interceptions. Oh, what's going on? Year two, is he gone? It's OTAs, relax. And then this weekend, my timeline was flooded with, it was a closed media session, so there's no video. However, Drake Maye was shredding. And it's like, yeah, well, this is OTAs. This is when players get better. This is player development.
Yeah.
This is what it's all about. Now, you and I in our world, football season really starts training camp, right? Once training camp gets ramped up, for us, it's like, all right, we're in football season. The reality is, it is September 7th we're talking about here. We do have a ways to go, George.
Yeah.
So seeing the good reports of Drake Maye at OTAs made me warm and fuzzy inside because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of Drake Maye struggling. Uh-oh, bro, it's May. Relax.
Yeah, and I bet you if you ask Drake Maye, like, he cared about throwing those 4 interceptions.
Yeah, of course.
But also he knew it's training camp, new system, new coordinator, brand new receiving room pretty much, brand new everything. And if you ask him about him being locked in and dialed in and shredding up the defense, probably the same thing of, yeah, it's May what? You know,
right.
We play September when? And that's how it is. Look, is 4 interceptions when you read it concerning? Yeah, to an extent. But it also is like, what's the degree of the misses? Is it miscommunications? Is a receiver not being where he's supposed to be? Because, again, he's learning the playbook as well.
Sure.
Is it a ball going off someone's hands? Is it a just wide open miss, like ball completely escaped from you? That's a concern.
It's not always his fault.
This is a guy that has to clean up his turnovers next season. He had way too many as a rookie, and they came in spurts because, again, he didn't play a full 17-game season. But when one would come, another would follow, and it would be like an avalanche when it came to interceptions for him. Has to clean that up, has to take care of the football. But I'm not one that's going to freak out.
Neither.
Over day 1, day 2 OTAs, 4 interceptions. He could throw 11 in one day. I would not freak out because it's May football. It's
right.
OTAs.
This is when you want him making the mistakes.
What is he doing week 1, week 2? And still make mistakes week
Yes.
1, 2, 3, 4 of the season. That's going to happen. You learn from failure. This is a team that, because of their schedule, because of the improvements, because of the coaching staff, can become a playoff team. That's 8 to 9 wins as their floor. That's maybe 10 to 11 wins as their ceiling. That is a wild card berth. That is being in the mix, and that is them going so far and above what they've done the last 2 seasons, which is win 4 games each. Drake Maye will make mistakes when it comes to August training camp too. He will make mistakes when it comes to the preseason and early on season, and throughout it, he's still new to playing the quarterback position at a high level. He came into the NFL with under 30 starts. That's not what you want. Jaden Daniels had dang near like 60 starts coming out of LSU because his time is ASU. Caleb Williams played a lot of games between OU and USC.
By the way, listen to the schools you're saying. OU, SC, LSU, Drake Maye, UNC. It's not the same. That's a basketball school.
The level of competition, and you want your quarterbacks to have in-game experience. And now this will be, again, with him, since his sophomore season at UNC to now his year 2 in the NFL. 4 different coordinators the last 4 years, 4 different play callers the last 4 years. Lost Phil Longo to Wisconsin, someone different in there his junior season. Rookie year, AVP didn't do the best, but you know he did a good job with Drake Maye. He did develop him. Now it's Josh McDaniels. Language changes again. And it's not just Josh McDaniels being new. The entire offensive coaching staff is brand new. Receivers coach, quarterbacks coach, offensive assistants, offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Everything. Play calling, all of that. The head coach, everything's changing. That's a lot. He's going to make mistakes. What do I get excited about when it comes to Drake Maye? It's not what he's going to do in 2025. It's what he will become in 27, 2028, 2029. He will be a top 5 guy in this league. I'm fully confident in saying that. I will put so much on that. And he's going to have his bumps along the way. Every quarterback has. But what he is down the road for the next 5, 10, 15 years for the Patriots, that is where Drake Maye will flourish. And that's where you'll see the seeds they plant now really blossom in.
You and I always do player comps, and I think we've both landed on Justin Herbert as a comp for Drake Maye. However, sometimes you do hear the Josh Allen comps as well. And in this sense, for what you're talking about when it comes to turnovers, this is more closely related to Josh Allen.
Great point.
Where early in his career, he was so damn raw, George, that he was turning the ball over at an extraordinary rate, where you would think the Bills wouldn't be winning games. You look at these games, Josh Allen would have 3 picks and a fumble. And you're like, well, how the hell did they win? It's because in the moments when you needed Josh Allen to be Superman, he could overcome those turnovers. That's what I hope to see in Drake Maye. You and I used to argue leading up to this draft, Drake Maye's draft, of Travis, it's what you just said. I'm worried about year 3 and 4 down. Hey, and I used to tell you, there's not going to be a year 3 and 4. Look at the story of Mac Jones. Now, obviously, that's different with the coordinators. But, like, he's not going to have a future if he can't figure stuff out early. I think with Drake Maye, as you speak of the turnovers, and I'm looking at their schedule now, so I'll just bring it up. You got the Raiders out of the gate, you have the Dolphins out of the gate. Just those first 2 games. Those defenses suck. I'm not concerned with either one of those teams. He should, in theory, have success right out of the gate this season with that soft schedule early. I know we could talk deeper in the schedule, but I'm just talking about those first 2 weeks. So if you have great OTAs, which it sounds like check, you have a great training camp, we'll see, preseason, and then you get in a regular season, those first 2 games, I need to see this guy, flashes of the raw that we saw as a rookie, but is it refined now? Can you cut down on turnovers against bad defensive teams? And then I'll take the bumps and the bruises from there, because from there you go Pittsburgh and some of the other better defenses. I'm really encouraged with what I'm hearing about Drake Maye and what I think we're going to see early. I know you're talking year 4 or 5. How about year 2? I think this kid is ready to stand up and ball out for the Patriots. If he does that, then we can have the wild card conversation.
And I think what he's going to – I love the Josh Allen comp. I think you're 100% spot on, because he did not become Josh Allen until year 3. And what was vital to Josh Allen's development? Brian Dable being that guy that brought him along, because he was with him his first 4 or 5 years when he's in the NFL. That's what you have when you have a Josh McDaniels who will be attached to Drake Maye's hip. And that's where, again, there's going to be bumps and bruises this season. There will be. Because, look, Stephon Diggs is good. He's coming off a torn ACL, and he's a slot receiver now. He'll be a wide receiver 1 for them, but he's a wide receiver 2. What will Kyle Williams will produce? Matt Collins is a wide receiver 4 or 5 in a very specific role. That's how he'll be used.
The run game.
This offensive line.
The line.
We don't know who's playing left guard. Because it looks like it's everyone but Layden Robinson at this point, with the guys that are repping at that spot. Between it being, just with the guys that they have that have been banged up, the new free agents they've signed, the other guys that are vets as well. And at left tackle, you have Will Campbell, who eventually will probably be that left guard. You don't know what you have with this offensive line. You don't know what you have with this receiving room. You hope you get Ramondre Stevenson to stop putting the ball on the floor, which I believe he will, with thanks to Trevion Henderson. This is, again, with the fans. And this schedule, we will see that bump that we saw in a way of how Jaden Daniels, his rookie success, C.J. Stroud, his rookie success, put the expectations unreachably high, intangibly high for them in year 2. I think what Drake Maye and the Patriots achieve this season will put the expectations unmarketably high in year 3. They have a cupcake schedule. They have an improved team.
There's no target on their back yet.
But they will win, and they could get into the playoffs. But again, this is with Mike Vrabel. When you fire Bill Belichick and then you bring in Gerard Mayo and you fire Gerard Mayo, it takes a year to reset the roster.
Sure.
That's what they're doing right now with free agency and with the draft. Not until next year will it really be, okay, this is a Mike Vrabel team. This is a Josh McDaniels offense we're seeing. And then from there, that's when I expect it. So to me, it's going to be a year 4 of Drake Maye's career, and it's going to be year 2, 3 of Josh McDaniels being there. So year 3, year 4 of Drake Maye. That's when we're going to see the fruits pay dividends.
Bro, you're talking about resetting the roster. Drake Maye has to unlearn some things that he's learned along the way now that he has a real offensive coordinator in Josh McDaniels.
Yeah.
The whole damn thing's a reset. Everybody's reset.
He did well, man. His reads, his post-snap reads,
smart. He's
everything
sharp.
he did. He's super smart. He's competitive. He's a leader. I'm not worried about him with this. It's the roster.
Yeah.
This receiving group is still interesting. Like, does Demario Davis, Pop Douglas, make it to his second contract? I really don't know. Does Kendrick Bourne make it beyond this? Does he make it past the trade deadline? I really don't know. Keyshawn Boutte, I don't know with him. He's up in the air as well.
Are any of these guys any good? We really don't know.
Kyle Williams, I love him.
We don't know a damn thing.
He hasn't played a single NFL snap.
Right.
He could be a bust. I don't think he'll be, but he could be a bust.
But he could be.
You don't know with any of these guys, and that's a part 2 that you have to develop and watch them play.
Get involved with our pigskin party, would you? Email us, the chat at Nesson.com. Tweet at us using the hashtag NessonChat. Call us 617-790-0928. Get in here to this pigskin party. We're talking about Drake Maye and the offense. Sometimes the best offense is a great defense, George. I mean, you look at this. Harold Landry spoke about working on his pass rush moves during OTA. Quote, you want to make everything look the same, so that way the tackle doesn't know what's coming. That's something I'm focused on this offseason, making sure all my moves look the same initially until the move actually happens. So this is a guy who's still trying to regain his form coming off injury, still working on his game. This is the part that fans don't really understand sometimes. It's like, oh, it's training camp, it's preseason. No, OTAs matter too. This is Harold Landry, a guy who's a veteran, now on a new team with a familiar face, obviously Mike Vrabel, still telling you this is where we refine our game here at OTA.
And that's what you want to hear from the vet. I mean, this is a guy that's about to be 29, and this is a defense that had the fewest sacks in the NFL last season, had one of the worst pass rushes. But now when you have Harold Landry, now we know that they drafted Braden Swinson, who's going to develop to be a really good 3rd down, 4th down pass rusher, money down guy. And in the middle, Christian Barmore saying he's going to be back. Milton Williams is that dude.
You love Milton Williams.
Joshua Farmer. I love Milton Williams. I love Joshua Farmer.
Yeah.
You need depth. Watch when the Buffalo Bills, when the Patriots take on the Bills week 5 in Buffalo, they legitimately have an 8-deep defensive line rotation.
Jeez.
And of that 8 deep, 3 of those guys are going to be rookies as well.
Right.
They revamped their defensive line. They want to win at the line of scrimmage. It's what the Eagles did to give them success. It's how you beat teams. You beat them up in the trenches. And they invest in this defensive line with big contracts, with draft picks, but also with this coming from Harold Landry of, hey, I'm refining my skills. I'm still working on it. That's what you want from the leader. Because eventually Milton Williams, Braden Swinson, those guys are going to be the leaders. There's not always going to be those vets on these big contracts. You need these guys on these 2nd, 3rd-year deals. That's what Landry was with the Titans. That's what Jeffrey Simmons is with the Titans as well. But exactly that, it's where you temper the expectations. Smart fans and New England Patriots fans are smart fans. Of course. They know when they see the 4 interceptions, they go, okay, that stinks.
Yes.
But it's not, hell raising down on them.
No.
It's not the end of the world. The sky isn't falling.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing when you look at different position groups as well.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, I mean, in this league, a defense can keep you in these games. So to your point, even if you're turning the ball over, as long as your defense can keep you in the game, you're still going to have a chance. This is not, by any stretch, going to be some explosive Patriots offense. They're going to be methodical, and Drake Maye is going to drive it, but the defense can help make that possible. Still to come here on Boston Has Entered the Chat, the Celtics offseason is filled with questions.
Man. George
and I will attempt to answer some of them when we come back. Roll with us here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Here we go. Welcome back to Boston Has Entered the Chat. Time for ballin' as we talk the Celtics. George, look, for the sake of this segment.
Yeah.
Instead of just kicking around ideas for what the Celtics should do, no. Any morning show can do that. But on Boston Has Entered the Chat, we ask the hard-hitting questions like this one. If you had to trade somebody.
Why you got to point at me like that?
Because you got to let them know. This that Uncle Sam point. If you had to trade somebody.
Okay.
who would it be? You have to trade someone this offseason.
Yes.
You have to.
Yes.
For the sake of the segment. You are Brad Stevens.
It's not sake of the segment. You know me, bro.
You trading anyway.
You come in, yes.
Oh.
I mean, this team cannot operate.
Oh.
Look, your ownership coming in, right? Hey,
I thought
Bill,
you were going to run it back, bro.
How you doing, Brad? Nice to meet you. Bill, you're Bill Chisholm.
I thought you wanted to run it back. You want
When in God's green earth did I say run it back, my man? I know I was out last week.
He was about to cuss.
I know I was out last week, but I wasn't gone. All right? I wasn't gone. I was down bad, but I wasn't delirious.
You were down bad.
I wasn't delirious.
You're back up, baby.
You need to trade people. And this is what the quick one's going to be. Drew Holiday is going to be traded first. He has the biggest trade value out of the guys that they have to move.
Right.
He's a championship-level defender. He's a veteran leader, and he'll probably be gone this offseason. The next one the Celtics are end up going to trade will be Kristaps Porzingis, but you're going to have to wait. Dealing with the illness, he's injury-ridden. He's about to be 30. Exactly. And what Brad Stevens and the Celtics did is they maximized his value.
They did.
So if Brad Stevens picks up the phone and says, Kristaps Porzingis, teams are going to hang up right away right now. But trade deadline approaches, they get the money off the books. That's how it'll happen. This is something that will be going down through February. I take those two out of it.
Okay.
I would trade Derek White. I would trade Derek White if you give me the right package and the right return.
Yeah.
Because that is a guy that could be a pillar, should be a pillar. His game allows him to play for a long time in the NBA. He's such a good on-ball and off-ball defender, great shot taker, doesn't play above the rim, isn't overly athletic, so his game's going to be there for a long time. But when Jason Tatum is back in 100% post-Achilles surgery and recovery, Derek White's going to be 32, 33. That's going to be past the window of this is a championship-type player who will be a third-best player on our roster. Now, where do I look? Everything goes to Houston immediately because they have the young pieces, I think, with a good return. If it's a Jalen Green, Jabari Smith, Cam Whitmore, maybe a Reed Shepherd who's a good shooter, you throw in a guy like a Sam Hauser, I would make that return. Then I cannot watch the Timberwolves without saying, what's the price for Naz Reid, who's going to want to get paid, but can defend 1 through 5, can shoot, plays championship-level basketball on both ends of the floor, plays like a guy that would be a perfect immediate impact long-term player for the Celtics. Those are the two ways I go. I would trade Derek White. I would. Has to be the right package. I'm looking out west with both, and I think if you get an infusion of young talent, a lot of young talent, like what the Rockets have, that's something I would do. Or you go with someone like, give me a Naz Reid and say a Rob Dillingham, a developmental guard that the Timberwolves traded for in this last draft, who I really like as well, who's an on-ball creator and shot maker, then I would do a package like that. And both guys can defend.
Man, you gave me so much to unpack right there.
It would be big to trade Derek White. It would not be easy. And the Celtics have come out and said, hey, Tatum, Brown, White, that's our big three. Yeah. They're not going anywhere.
Those are reports.
But at the right price, everyone not named Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown is available.
Brett Siegel, we should give him some credit, reported that White and Brown and Tatum will not be moved. That's a big three. That's why I said for the segment, we're just discussing this. But you gave me a lot to unpack, and here's a tweet here. Look, the Warriors allegedly are interested in Derek White, but there's not the return there.
Yeah,
they just don't. Who do they have?
Exactly.
Like I'm not interested.
You want GP2? Like, no, I don't.
Well, Kuminga doesn't work in their system, and it's been proven. He's a talented guy, but I'm not interested.
He could work in their system.
I don't think so.
But it's a redundant player, and you need shooters on this bench, or you need shooters in the depth, and I just don't know if he has that. Very talented, very athletic, but it's redundant.
Look, you gave me a lot to unpack. I want to hear from the people, too. Email us at chat@nesson.com. Tweet at us using the hashtag NessonChat.
Don't forget the voicemail.
617-790-0928. Leave us a voicemail. I want to hear your trade ideas, but I'm going to go a little crazier here.
Okay.
I'm going to go a little more fantasy basketball. I would trade Jaylen Brown, and I would trade him for Giannis Antetokounmpo. Now, you're not going to have a straight-up trade there, but it's going to be close. I think if you're Milwaukee, I can get a player in return who has already proven, when healthy, he can lead a championship team.
Yeah.
He can be the man on a championship team. Jaylen Brown did that with a healthy Jason Tatum. So if I'm a Milwaukee Buck, I'm about to lose this Superman from Kryptonite. I got to get something back, and it just can't be draft picks out the yin-yang. Every mock trade I see on Giannis is like Oklahoma City Thunder because they can get their draft picks for the next 20 years. I don't think if you're Milwaukee, you want to do that. If you have to do that, you got to do what you got to do, and you build for the future through the lottery. But if you're the Bucks and I can get someone in-house who can be the top guy on the championship team now that my guy wants out, and Giannis, before you say Giannis, why would you do that? He doesn't fit the system. Change the system. I mean, this was my issue with this past playoff run.
Yes.
You won a title one way. Good on you. No common sense, nothing. No one in the building thought, we're probably not going to be able to do that again the exact same way. We got to have some wrinkles. We have to have some adjustments. We may need to tinker with the lineup here or there. No one thought that? No, let's just run it back and look what happened. And don't give me Jason Tatum got hurt, okay? You were losing that series with him, the way it was looking to me. So I think you bring in a Giannis. Giannis and Tatum can coexist stylistically. And sure, call me crazy. Maybe you had to change your system a little bit, your formula, because Giannis isn't the shooter. Giannis is everything else. He is the alpha and the omega. He has improved his shooting, but he doesn't play like a Celtic. That guy needs to attack the rim. That guy needs to crash boards. That guy plays defense. I would be willing to part with a Jaylen Brown if my return was a Giannis Antetokounmpo. To that, you say what?
I don't want to trade Jaylen Brown. I do not want to trade Jaylen Brown.
I hear a comma.
I don't want to trade Jaylen Brown. But Giannis Antetokounmpo, my man, that's where. But what will the Bucks want? They would want more than a Jaylen Brown.
That's why I said it's not going to be straight up, but that's as close as you're going to get to straight up. You're not going to have to mortgage the future the way you would think if you're giving up a Jaylen Brown.
2 J's. Jaylen Brown, Drew Holiday. And maybe throw in a Sam Hauser.
Yes.
And I would take a Giannis Antetokounmpo, give me a developmental guy they got, maybe an A.J. Brown. Let's say, I don't know, just give me someone that's deeper in their system.
A body.
But that is someone that also matches the money, and that makes sense.
Yes.
But you trade that when it comes to getting a Jaylen Brown off the books. You're going to force Milwaukee to take on more. Yeah, they would take on a Drew Holiday, and that's fine.
Yes.
Because if they get a Jaylen Brown, now that's a guy that would have to want to stay in Milwaukee. It is the NBA, don't forget. It is the NBA. My thing, too, is I do not trade Jaylen Brown if I'm the Celtics. Never in a million years. Now, if Jaylen Brown goes to them and goes, look, I see the timeline. I see JT's recovery.
Then it could match up.
And you know what? I don't want to be here.
Which is what Giannis is doing.
But Jaylen Brown would have the power, too, of, you're not sending me. Why would he want to go to Milwaukee, though? And that's my thing.
Sure.
I get it. For the team, it makes sense.
Right.
Now, all right, crazy scenario.
Okay, I'm with you.
Giannis Antetokounmpo to Boston. Jaylen Brown to Houston.
Oh, a little three-way.
Players from Houston to Milwaukee.
Little three-way trade.
I think that's how that would work.
I could see that vision, too, because then everyone wins.
Again, I don't want to trade Jaylen Brown. He's too good, too important to this city, too important to that franchise. I do not want to trade Jaylen Brown. But I can't just completely gloss over what your scenario laid out.
Yeah.
And that's Jaylen Brown if he ends up in that scenario. That's him with the head coach he loves in Ime Udoka, loves to play for.
Yes.
And that's Jaylen Brown going to someone that's really close to contending. Depending on the pieces that leave Houston, Jaylen Brown would be the guy on a team that's deep with one of the best head coaches in the NBA and be contending. Houston's a better landing spot for him than Milwaukee. I think it's going to take more than 2 in this dance.
Yeah, which makes sense because a player of Giannis's stature, it generally does take.
What was he saying?
Teams.
Like he loves playing in New York, and like he was interested in the Nets.
Well,
that's my thing. Like, can Giannis not be dumb?
Reports
can he be mature?
Reports are he likes Brunson, but he likes everyone. Giannis is a likable guy, so who the hell knows?
I just don't want him going to Brooklyn.
I just want him getting involved in Boston. If we can get him to Boston, I'll take him. Thanks for watching. We always appreciate you riding with us. And remember this, to get the latest up-to-date live, we've got Boston sports headlines along with your daily dose of trending sports and social topics every weekday on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Catch us at 8 a.m. on NESN and 9 a.m. on NESN Nation, Monday through Friday. NESN Nation, welcome into Boston Has Entered the Chat. Travis Thomas here with George Balekji. Of course, we're going to dive into Marcelo Mayer's debut with the Red Sox, even though the results against the O's isn't exactly what we were hoping for.
Man.
And George, right now, is drafting in a keeper league.
I'm 5
True
picks
story.
away, by the way. It's Dynasty, 30 rounds. This is the future of the world right now when it comes to football. I just got to build around, Patrick Mahomes, CeeDee Lamb, Marion Hampton, A.J. Brown, J.J. McCarthy, Emeka Egbuka, and R.J. Harvey.
It's a pretty good roster.
It is, and I'm going in on the rookies. And all the guys in the league are like, why is he taking rookies right now? I know.
It's a keeper. I mean, it makes sense, a good strategy. So you mean to tell us right now, during this segment, you'll have to pick?
Possibly.
Can you take us inside your pick when it's done?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, great.
Oh, yeah,
All right.
100%. I'm not going to say who's on my big board. There could be guys watching. This is a league ran by my barber. I'm not representing him the best way right now.
Yeah.
Had to cancel an appointment while I was sick.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I'll take you guys into the strategy.
Shout outs to my barber. He's
Does
pretty
a
much
phenomenal job.
Yeah, I mean, he's
probably
just,
the straightest edge I've ever seen.
just fast.
Man, yeah, I think what's great is Travis had long flowing hair when I first met him, but he just prefers bald, and he prefers not to embarrass me, man.
Bro, you a damn lie. I ain't had long flowing locks in my life. Even when I could grow hair, I didn't. Now, let's get to the lecture at hand. Remember, you
Talking
can catch...
about good hair.
Yeah. Oh.
We're going to talk Marcelo Mayer right now.
He has great hair.
Vinny Chase over here.
I said earlier, I feel like he talks like a veteran, but he looks like a young Thundercat. You know what I mean?
He looks like a movie star.
Yeah, he does.
He's literally, I feel like we're watching Entourage before our very eyes. Baseball version.
Facts. Remember, you could catch a full hour. Boston has entered the chat on Nesson at 8 a.m. and Nesson Nation at 9 a.m. daily. And we always say we're interactive, so email us at chat@nesson.com. Tweet at us using the hashtag NessonChat and call us. We have voicemails always. We play them here on the show. We love to hear from you. 617-790-0928. With all that being said, let's talk the state of the Sox. I mean, Marcelo Mayer is one thing to unpack, but George, you and I talked coming into this 10-game homestand about how this team, hey, 7-3, 6-4, let's get above 500 here, let's get some momentum, feeling good about ourselves at home. They go 5-5. It feels so Red Sox right now, George, that this team, even with the Orioles split in 2-2, 5-5 in the homestand, everything, it's just, we're stuck at 500 and can't break through.
Yeah, and that's where they've been. I mean, 27-28 now on the year. Came into the season barely above 500, even at home.
Right.
And they exit this season-long homestand of 10 games, 5-5. And the way it started is what disappoints me is, literally the way it started against the Braves, Garrett Crochet being phenomenal.
Yeah.
But then splitting against the Mets, taking 2 of 3 against the Mets.
That's right.
And that's a team that was struggling. Perfect, you're doing your job. That's a more talented team, but that's a team that's struggling and you beat them. The Orioles are one of the worst teams in all of baseball. If the Chicago White Sox had not ineptitude running that organization, the Orioles would be that team. They are gosh awful. Fired their manager, last place, have 2 really good players, and it's a shame what they're doing to waste their talent. And you split with them. And it's the same issues, Trav. It's starting pitching not panning out beyond Garrett Crochet or Hunter Dobbins right now. It's the bullpen not stepping up. And now they were taxed because of what happened to Walker Buehler at one point in his homestand, getting ejected after 3 innings pitched. It's this defense throwing the ball around, allowing a Little League inside the park home run, which was a byproduct of an overthrow by Ceddanne Rafaela and Marcelo Mayer pressing as well when he finally recovers the ball in relays, but he's going to learn. This team's not playing good baseball, and we haven't seen them play good baseball consistently. Consistently, that's all you need. Play good baseball consistently, and that gets you above 500.
Yeah.
They're 27-28. They've been this throughout the entire season when you run through their schedule and every point they've been. That's what the frustration is. And this is a team that's been 500 the last 2 seasons, 81 and 81. They need to be better than that. Yeah. But what hurts now is Marcelo Mayer was called up, and this was in case of emergency. Alex Bregman with a severe quad strain is going to keep him out for some time. He has to play third base, which is out of position for him of what he was expected to be at the major league level. Comes in, first game doesn't get a hit, second game goes 2 for 4, single and a double. Fantastic.
Look good.
But now when you look at the lineup and what they have, it's Willie Abreu, Carlos Narvaez, Christian Campbell, Marcelo Mayer, Nick Sogard, Ceddanne Rafaela, maybe Abraham Toro playing some time too at first. All these guys giving them a platoon of 2.5 or less years of MLB service time. These guys, Marcelo Mayer playing out of position at third, Christian Campbell playing out of position at first if he ends up playing there. It's a young roster. This timeline looks different. And this is worst case scenario for the Red Sox. Tristan Casas tearing up his knee. Bregman, who is hitting like one of the best hitters in all of baseball, going down for quite some time.
And your leader.
And the leader in the clubhouse. Jaron Duran's hitting well. Rafael Devers is hitting like an MVP. That's what you want out of him. But everywhere else, his team's unraveling. This is when it gets tough team building. And what is the timeline? Marcelo Mayer needs to play, get him that experience because he's long-term success for the team. Same with Christian Campbell. Same with Roman Anthony if he comes up. But then there also have to be the tough conversations to be had. Trevor Story has a sub-570 OPS. Sub-570 OPS. You know how terrible that is? And at one point up, they're not hitting well with runners in scoring position. Why is he swinging? Why is he not laying down a bunt? Because the bat is not there. What is going on with this team? And that's where the difficult conversations have to be had with the Red Sox because 27 and 28 isn't good enough. Memorial Day weekend, that is a timeline you could put a stake in. And then All-Star break, that's a part of the timeline where you could put a stake in.
It's a bigger one.
Where the team is at those 2 points says a lot if they make the postseason.
Sure.
The Red Sox are not where they need to be to make the postseason.
I mean, you know what it feels like, because you're absolutely right. There's a memorial. Well, yes. It feels like when you get to the All-Star break, you're going to be looking at a 500 team. It is. It's Groundhog's Day. You brought up Story. Campbell's not giving you much at the plate. The bullpen obviously needs some upgrading, which is possible when you get to the trade deadline, assuming you are in position to go for a postseason run, and we both anticipate that. Outside of Crochet and Buehler, I like some of these starting pitchers. I can't say my trust level is there.
Yeah.
Look, I hear you with this team being so young and moving the timeline, but I'm at the point, I'm just looking for a spark in any way possible, and especially with Bregman being out for an extended period of time. Bring up Roman Anthony. Why the hell not? I mean, at this point, if you're Alex Cora...
Because where does he play?
Well, I think that can give you some versatility for the lineup to move some things around.
Yeah.
The only person now who I'm actually leaving alone, and you remember weeks ago, I was all over Raffy. Just move to first, help the team. Now, leave Raffy the hell alone. He's playing so well, I don't even remember back to the historic, what was he, over what, 21? It was something nuts.
15 strikeouts his first 19 at-bats.
Historically bad when the season started, right?
Yes.
To now, he's the hottest bat in baseball. So now, I was always on Raffy's tail. Now I'm like, you know what? Leave him the hell alone. He's selling into DH. We're good there. But if you bring in a Roman Anthony, I think you can be versatile with this lineup, mix and match, which is my point. That could be the spark needed. Maybe it is an Alex Cora bringing all hands on deck for the youth movement, I'm saying, tinkering with the lineup, what works. You know what this team needs, bro? And I want to bring up their schedule while I do this.
They have Milwaukee next to 3 games, day off, then they have the Braves.
Because this is where I'm going. Well, that's a tough schedule, so I may not get what I want. You know what they need in the worst way, and it's like Captain Obvious here?
Yeah.
They need, and I'm not even going to go crazy, with a long win streak. Like we see the really good teams, 8, 9 win. They need a solid 4, 5 game win streak. And I think a lot of this stuff will be lifted off of them. A lot of this stuff with the Sox, particularly as we always see in these close one-run games, a lot of this stuff's mental, George. And I think they need confidence that you get in a win streak. I'm not saying it's easy. I don't know from what you just told me on that schedule, I don't see it. Crazier things can happen. But if this team can put together 4, 5, 6 wins in a row, all of a sudden, I feel like the light bulb will go off.
It's 2 of 3, 2 of 3. Like a piece at a time. Like that's what needs to happen.
That's a 500 team.
Can you win 4 of 6 though? If you keep taking 2 of 3 in each series, then when you get the Angels, can you pull off a sweep at some point?
That's where the O's
and it just gauges you down. Exactly.
Right.
Especially with a 4-game stint.
That's right.
That should have been 3 of 4.
That should have been
3 wins.
Yes.
And again, with the long-determined homestand as well, because that's a team that you can beat up on, you can beat, and especially to be at home.
Yes.
But now going out to Milwaukee, they're playing there today, 2 p.m. first pitch. It'll be for them, of course.
Well, it's Crochet, right?
And it'll be Crochet to get this started. There is that gap, though. Now what hurts is, with all the rain delays and all that being 4 games and the Walker Buehler being yanked, bullpens, you're going to have some of the starters being on short rest. Bullpen is going to be taxed as well. What happens then? But when you look at Milwaukee, the Braves, I don't care about the opponents. It's can you play good baseball and not beat yourself?
Sure.
But that's what they do. When they're getting weak contact, they weren't even striking out a ton against the Orioles. It's just weak contact, especially with runners in scoring position. Can you at least put the ball in the outfield and hit line drives? Can you bring in runners when they're in scoring position?
It's like fundamental.
Can you not have fielding errors? Exactly. Exactly. And can you get the guys? When Hunter Dobbins is stepping up, he's never pitched at the major league level before the season. Can you capitalize when he gives you something? Can you capitalize when you have Garrett Crochet giving you something? I don't know. Can you? I don't know. We'll see.
Don't know.
They need to capitalize on that. That's the important part in all of this.
Bro, I'm looking right now trying to find silver linings here for what we're talking about.
There's
the only
the
thing
Angels?
I'm looking bigger picture, George. I'm looking American League wild card, right? And honestly, I mean, it does feel like Groundhog's Day. I feel like we should name this entire show Groundhog's Day because you're absolutely right. I'm looking at the American League wild card, and it's smack dab what it always is. The Sox are right there, right? And you're just like, if they can just rattle off, get hot, then they should be a wild card team. But it's the same teams we always see. It's the Cleveland Guardians. It's the Minnesota Twins. This is damn Groundhog's Day, George. The Royals, the Astros, and then the Sox right there. It's like It's always the same cluster of teams, and you're just waiting for this team to get hot and to break through, and they just haven't been able to do it. And the one silver lining is I'm trying to find them. It is May, and you're right. It's a Memorial Day. Okay, we look, where are we now? And then the next one is the All-Star break. We're not at the All-Star break. We are in May. This is Memorial Day. So there's still time to turn it around. I just don't have the answers of how you do it. It feels at times like they get one thing and not the other. Crochet pitches well, bats go cold. Devers isn't giving you what you need, Duran is. Oh, Duran's hot, right? It's like nothing can come together at one time. If you can get everyone, the only consistent all year really is Bregman from wire to wire, but now he's hurt for an extended period of time. They just have to figure out a way to make everything come together at the same time, and I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, but have they shown you that yet?
No.
And that's where there has to be some sample size at some point. And that's where the struggle is with this. It's all hoping, it's hoping, it's hoping. Can the defense get cleaned up? Can the bats show up consistently? Can they produce when they need to later on in innings? We've seen walk-offs, we've seen the exciting wins, that's fine. Consistency, that's what it is. It's these losses by one run that have piled up for them as well. All these losses in close games that have happened. Or it's the bats going cold, losing 5-1 to the Mets. The last two losses to the Orioles, 2-1, then 5-1.
Yeah.
They're only producing one run against the Orioles, who are one of the worst teams in all of baseball. They have to be better than that. But it's been inconsistent. It's consistently being inconsistent. And that's what this team has been so far.
Yeah, that's well said.
They have the potential. They have the bats. And it's also asking a lot. I think the most important thing was when you looked at this lineup and Christian Campbell was called up, the pressure wasn't on him because Alex Bregman was there. Rafael Devers was there. Tristan Casas was there, who could be a 40-120 guy.
Sure.
Right? All of these good hitters are there. But now all of a sudden, when you bring up a Marcelo Mayer, Alex Bregman's not there. It's just Jarren Duran and Rafael Devers.
Right.
Christian Campbell struggling. If you bring up a Roman Anthony, the pressure is now on their shoulders. Hey, that's part of being a major league player. I'm not giving them any off. And they would want that pressure.
Yeah.
But now that development and getting them to produce at the major league level changes a ton because this lineup, the complexity of it changes a ton.
Bro, this just feels a lot like baseball purgatory in a way because you look at the great teams in this league, we know who they are. I mean, Dodgers, obviously, Phillies are up there, the Yankees. And then you look at the dreck of the league. We talked about this. The Orioles are dreck right now, okay? You should have taken 3 out of 4 if not swept them. The White Sox are a mess always. The Rockies, these teams that we know, the A's. And the Red Sox are not great. They're not elite like that team, like those cluster of teams we talked about, but they're not dreck either. That's why I say it's baseball purgatory because this team is talented enough where they should be closer to that upper crest. I'm not saying they could beat the Dodgers in the World Series, although maybe I did put a bet in on that in the offseason.
I took them to win the AL. I stopped there.
Well,
I put a bet on them, though.
I mean, who are we other than D-Gens to talk about anything?
Right.
But they should be closer to that upper crest, certainly than the bottom, right?
Yeah.
And they're not either. It's purgatory, George. They're right in the middle.
Yeah.
And it's driving Red Sox fans insane, which I get.
It's now,
I get it.
It's going on. You haven't been in the playoffs since the 2021 run, and it's back-to-back seasons of 500 baseball.
Right.
And it is at least there's the young prospects coming up. Like these are guys that are going to be with the team for a long time. It's no more Dom Smith at first base. No offense to the legend of Dom Smith. But this is a team that you need to you want to see good baseball.
Yeah.
Boston's way too smart of a city, way too smart of a fan base for any sport to not go out there and put on a good product because they know what good baseball, football, hockey, basketball looks like. They know what good sports look like.
Yeah.
This team isn't playing good baseball right now. Everyone knows
And
that
they had
Fenway, everyone knows
expectations.
that watching at home.
They had expectations.
And the expectations should remain
Absolutely.
there.
Absolutely. When we come back here on Boston Has Entered the Chat, people are taking shots at us on voicemail. We'll get to the bottom of that. What else is new? Plus, Georgia and I take a deep dive into the world of Boston sports memorabilia. But remember, get the latest up-to-date live. We've got Boston sports headlines along with your daily dose of trending sports and social topics every weekday on Boston Has Entered the Chat. Catch us live at 8 a.m. on Nesson and 9 a.m. on Nesson Nation. That's every Monday through Friday. Welcome back to Boston Has Entered the Chat. One of my favorite things about this great program, George, is how interactive we are.
Yeah.
In fact, we invite people all the time.
You're right.
Email us. We give them every platform when you think about it, except carrier pigeon. Email us, thechat@nesson.com.
If they figure that out, I'd accept it.
You're right. Facts. I would, if a carrier pigeon showed up and landed right here and dropped a note and flew off, I'm not mad. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
We tell you to tweet at us using the hashtag NessonChat. We tell you to call us, and we give you a number, 617-790-0928. And what happens is you leave us a voicemail, and we always play it on the show, for good or for bad, for better or for worse. In fact, we heard from a longtime Pats fan this morning calling us out. Take a listen.
You guys are talking about the possibility of Drake Maye is going to do anything that's top 5. That's silly. All you guys do here is make excuses for this quarterback. So he's average. Below right now, yes. I clearly would say that you guys traded the best hopeful of a real quarterback for below average.
You know,
What?
It's funny.
What?
He's talking about Joe Milton.
We need to take on live callers. We need, at one point,
So we can go back and forth?
I have questions.
He's talking about Joe Milton.
Yes, he's a moron. Not Joe Milton, this caller. Respectfully, and I appreciate you calling in. You're telling me that that there are excuses made for Drake Maye? Like, this town, this city makes excuses for its athletes?
For anyone. No.
And you're telling me that Drake Maye is average? No. And then he's the gall, the audacity, which I respect in a way. The audacity that you traded away the guy that would have been top 5. I think that had to have been Joe Milton's dad, his uncle, his brother, maybe Joe Milton himself. Honestly, I don't think that was Joe Milton because even Joe Milton is smart enough not to know that.
And they're loving him in Dallas, by the way.
They are?
Yeah, I saw a couple clips. He's throwing a football
There
over
you
those
go.
mountains.
Oh, my God, Dak.
They're like, oh, this guy, Joe Milton, listen.
Oh, God, Dak, enjoy it.
You know, it's funny because this caller, I was you several months ago.
Oh.
George and I used to argue
Look at this.
all the time on Foxborough Rush.
Mm-hmm.
Check it out. Where I would say, hey, man, like Joe Milton I would acknowledge he's more raw than Drake Maye. Drake Maye is more pro-ready, refined. I always said that. However, I saw the raw piece of clay that Joe Milton is, and I recognize it. And if nothing else, I never said Drake Maye stunk or, you know, what did he say? He's average at best or whatever, below average. I never said any of that nonsense because that's what it is. It's nonsense. But what I did say was, keep the kid. What's the problem? Keep Joe Milton, keep developing him. If you're going to trade him down the line where maybe he has played a little more, there's a bigger sample size, preseason, whatevs, Drake Maye misses a handful of games, then trade him. I thought it was a little premature to trade Joe Milton when you did. Mm-hmm. However, I have never once, as president, and maybe the only member until this morning I found out of the Joe Milton fan club, I never said this guy should be the starter, get Drake Maye out of town, which it sounds like our caller's saying. It's preposterous, George.
It's just asinine. That's and I try not to use that word too loosely, but the Drake Maye literally checks all the boxes. And there are parts where guys were draft picks for a reason. Drake Maye was a top 3 pick for a reason. With teams like the Minnesota Vikings banging down the door to move up and take him. With teams like the New York Giants and Brian Dable banging down the door to want to move up in the draft and take him. And then there was a reason that 32 teams passed up on Joe Milton round after round after round after round after round.
That's right.
Until the 6th. There's a reason that happened. And there's a reason as well when you evaluated that Joe Milton was moved when he was moved for what he was moved.
That's right.
If he was seen as that valuable of an asset, he would have been held on to and he would have been traded for, say, a 3rd-round pick. The NFL evaluators in the draft told you what he is. Respect to that guy. I appreciate you calling in. But man, brother, enjoy Drake Maye. Enjoy it.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Enjoy it because it's going to be a great next 10 to 15 years.
Man.
Joe Milton would have been a good half season.
Maybe. We'll see. Somehow, some way, he's going to find his way on the field in Dallas, and then that's when the real soap opera starts.
If that message came in on a messenger pigeon, I think I would have had to second guess all my reality and what I know is the real world. I would be like, is this the next Ashton Kutcher coming back? It's punked via messenger pigeons.
How did we even get on? Is this my fault? Was I the first one to say a messenger pigeon?
Yes.
It's my fault.
Vermin landing on my car with a message of just Joe Milton's better than Drake Maye.
Hey, you know what,
I'm
though?
mind blown right now.
Unlike some other shows, we care what you think. Even if we disagree with you. You know, we want to hear from you. We don't just sit up here and talk at you. We talk with you, even if we disagree. So again, just a reminder, email us at chat@nesson.com. Tweet at us using the hashtag NessonChat or hit us up, 617-790-0928. We may call you a moron, but it's out of love. We love you here on Boston Has Entered the Chat. All right, let's move on to this. So Jim Irsay, I saw, passed away, and I guess all of his memorabilia now is being auctioned off. He has all kinds of stuff. So Muhammad Ali's championship belt from 1974 against his bout against George Foreman, who's also gone now. Sylvester Stallone's original manuscript notes for the movie Rocky. You can see all this stuff here. Nick Walters tweeted out some more of the things in the collection.
Jackie Robinson game-used bat.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
Secretariat, a saddle that was worn by him.
Relics from rock music as well. So it got us to thinking, if you were to collect Boston sports memorabilia, where would you start? What would you want? What would you want in your prized collection?
I can be anywhere at any time and I take it. I go up to the athlete after the game. I go, hey, give me those. I would need the gloves or the skates or anything worn by Bobby Orr during his leaping goal, that 4th game, 1970 Stanley Cup winner. I just need something part of that iconic image, and I don't know why the gloves stand out to me. I need his gloves off his hands, fresh off of that.
Yeah, I like that. That's a good one. I immediately think of Brady, obviously. Anything Brady I'd take.
Yep.
Probably his last, maybe the game ball from his last Patriot touchdown.
Okay.
I feel like that would be a valuable piece of history that you could have.
I would want his hair fresh off. You know when he had the long hair? Fresh off that
off
cut.
of his scalp?
Oh, yeah. Fresh off the barber, scoop it up. I want it vacuum sealed, no air touching it. You don't think that's weird? You do think it's
definitely weird. You would just have his hair in a Ziploc?
Tom Brady's hair. No, it would be airtight, casing.
I'm getting Buffalo Bill vibes from this, guys. I don't know.
No,
we may want to get George checked out. He may want to talk to someone after the program.
I want the original parquet floor.
Oh.
From one of the home games in the 1957 NBA Finals, Bill Russell, Celtics' first NBA championship. I want the original parquet floor. I want a piece of that. And I want it somewhere, it's in the middle of the floor of my house.
Yeah.
Glass over it so it's protected. No, I don't know. Glass that can pull back, you can walk on it with your bare feet.
But you want to protect it.
I want that good one.
Yeah. You don't want no kids running up on it.
No, scuffing it up.
Kids.
High heels on it. Definitely not.
Man.
I'll take a rim from the 1957 finals, too. The literal rim that Bill Russell was slamming, jamming.
Sounds like you just need a mock court at your house with the parquet, the rim.
Why not?
But no one would ever be able to go in. You would never play pickup basketball in said room, ever.
I'm not saying I wouldn't do that.
No,
I'm not above that.
You just said you'd have Tom Brady's hair in a Ziploc.
Yeah.
Okay, don't lie to my
face. You can't play with hair. You can play with the rim and the floor.
You're so weird, bro. I love it. Adam Vinatieri's cleat.
Yes.
I would want, not only from the Super Bowl, but the Tuck game.
Yeah.
When they moved all that snow and my man kicked the game winner, as soon as he came off the field, hey, congratulations, can I get that cleat, dog? I need that cleat. That's not weird.
I want the snowblower that moved that snow. Something from the maintenance crew after that. I like the cleat off his foot. You know what I would want too? The 28-3 comeback. I want Bill Belichick's headset. Whatever he was doing to call in plays. Maybe Josh McDaniels in that stint as well.
Yeah.
I want something that's instrumental in leading to that comeback. I don't just want cleats. I don't want a game-worn jersey. I want, like, the armband of the play call.
Yeah.
I want James White's helmet. That's what I want, something like that.
Going back to Belichick's headset, how funny would it be, George, if you got your hands on it, right? And you're just like, I want to feel Bill's aura, and you put it on.
And all I hear is Jordan's.
Jordan, you got these too? How'd you get in here? And you just chuck them. And in the distance, you just hear,
Oh, my God. That would happen to me. You know what I would like to, if we're talking, like, Patriots history? The flag from when D Ford was called offsides.
Oh.
From after that interception that Tom Brady threw.
Now you're getting
targeting
deep.
Rob Gronkowski.
Now you're getting deep.
Because if he's not offsides, the Patriots don't get that 6th ring.
That's right.
Because the Chiefs end up seeing the Rams in that Super Bowl, and we see some high-scoring game once again. I want that flag from D Ford being called offsides. That's what I want.
I'm a boxing fan, so I'm intrigued by this Muhammad Ali stuff. I didn't realize that Liston Ali fight was in Lewiston, Maine.
It was supposed to
be in Boston.
And there was issues with the promoter. Something was deemed illegal. They're like, all right, and they just shipped it up to Maine. Yeah, got out of Massachusetts.
Bro, that's crazy.
I would want, same thing, the ring, the outer,
the actual ring.
Ropes, all that. That's what I would want from that fight. I want the whole ring. F it. I want the whole ring.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
I mean, you have
the middle of the man cave.
You have the old garden in your house at this point with the parquet floors and the rim. You might as well get the damn ring.
Have the ring
Ali
in the corner. Yeah, why not?
All right, I got a story for you. Ready?
Yeah.
I actually own a piece of I'm not a big memorabilia guy.
Okay.
But I do have a personal piece that you're gonna laugh at.
Yeah.
Okay, so this was years ago. Colts here at Foxborough taking on the Patriots. It was Frank Wright's last game as head coach of the Colts. They fired him after that drubbing, right? Mm-hmm. You know I have a friend on the Colts, Zaire Franklin.
Yep.
So he plays linebacker, has a really good game that day, tackle machine. After the game, we're boys. I came to see him. He gives me his jersey, signs it, and gives it to me.
Man.
All the players I've encountered in my career have never done that, okay? So this was my first time receiving something like that, so it meant a lot to me. I'm holding it up with him. I'm holding it up, I'm looking at the jersey, and I'm like, it's dirt everywhere, and I go, hey, bro, is this paint? Or is this blood? I'm seeing a lot of blood on this. He goes, oh, no, that's blood. And I go, I can't be having your blood on here, dog. I'm gonna have to. He goes, it's not my blood. Yeah. That is the blood of Mac Jones. I said, oh, my damn. Now I love it.
That's beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Is that framed? That better be framed.
I haven't framed it.
Bro,
I know.
Frame that.
Bro, it's in the corner. Like I got home, I was like, this is awesome. It's laid out, but it's just it's in a random corner in my house.
Frame that.
I know. I've been tripping.
That. And it should say Zaire Franklin, game-worn jersey, final score, blood of Mac Jones. That's all a lot of Patriots fans want that too.
That's what I'm saying. Even then, I knew. I was like, oh, I'm saving this forever.
He's out there, what is it, grittying up in San Francisco.
Also, just to be able to say the blood of Mac Jones is on my jersey.
Beautiful thing.
That's badass.
Honestly, Bill Belichick would probably pay you a handsome fee for that. He wants that too.
More Boston has entered the chat next. And save the date. The WEEI Ness and Jimmy Fund Radio Telethon presented by Arbella Insurance is on August 18th and 19th. Help strike out cancer by visiting jimmyfund.gives/kcancer to donate today.